So this is the first video out of 700 I'm doing on what is trading, how it is done, and the sort of how I use it to live a lifestyle that I've become accustomed to. So let's start off with number one. What is trading? Trading is the buying and selling of stocks, futures, which are commodities, such as gold, coffee, cattle, corn, foreign exchange, so currencies, euros, dollars, yen, won, pound, or even things like over-the-counter swaps, and that's something we're not going to get into in this video. But what we are going to get into is number two. How do I do? So back when I was learning all how to do this stuff, I thought to myself, I said, well, um, really, what is my goal? Because you have to have a goal, number one. And the goal is obviously to make money. The goal is to, the goal is to make more than you're taking in at the moment at your previous job, at your current job. Don't get me wrong. You can work at Stop and Shop, or you can work at Market Basket, you can work at Bob's, you can have a minimum wage job and still trade and make a decent living. You know, you really can, and I'm gonna explain how I do it. So maybe you can sort of get an aspect on different techniques and strategies. Maybe you can learn how to do if you're interested. So the first thing I do is I wake up in the morning. The video I'm gonna film tomorrow morning is again, I believe it's the 12th of August today. So on the 13th of August, it's the 12th, right? Yeah, it's the 12th. Sorry, check my iPad. It's the 12th of August. So on the 13th of August, I'm gonna film my morning. Now that's gonna be a Thursday morning. Market is open Thursday. So, and it'll be through an iPad or a Google Glass or a phone or whatever. It won't be through a laptop like this. So, again, back to the main subject of trading. The first thing I'll do is I'll check for the futures market. Now I specialize in futures contracts. Now these futures contracts are highly leveraged investments. I don't suggest you go out and just start trading futures randomly, buying, selling, selling. Okay, you need to go into that market as a professional. Okay, so again, futures markets. Like I stated before, commodities such as gold, coffee, silver are the first leaders in terms of direction. So let's say I get up, and you'll see this tomorrow when I film my series. I get up in the morning and I say, my mindset, I know that tomorrow is Thursday, the NASDAQ 100 index is Thursday, expiration Friday settled, and I'll pull up a chart again. It's pretty simple once I get into showing you how to do it. I pull up a chart of the NASDAQ futures. Again, the future price, it continues moving after the stock market closes. And it is down, like, let's for example purposes, let's say it's down 15 points overnight. So the NASDAQ 100 index closed at 40, let's just say it closed at 4,600. Futures are now trading around 4,580. Okay, so what that means is that if everything else stayed constant, okay, the NASDAQ 100 index would open in a red tick. It would open in a red candle because the futures market is down 20 points. Okay, so it's going to open 20 points lower, and if not, decline more. So how would I use that to my advantage? Well, I would sell. Why? Because I already have that pre-market knowledge, and a lot of people use this strategy, so you have to be very careful on how you sell and how you short sell. There are certain laws and regulations around this. Again, I'm not suggesting you sell a couple $100,000 worth of notion, worth of notional index, a couple $1 million worth of stock like this, because you'll make it, but you'll go to jail, and that's no one wants to go to jail for that. So again, we pay attention to the futures price. Number one. Number two is we short sell the index, or we just, if we want to get in directly into the futures contract, we short sell the futures. I made $230,000 in 2 minutes today, shorting the bonds and the Nasdaq futures. I placed stop orders. Again, that's a whole different video, but just again to show how that's done. So how can you use that to your advantage? Well, a lot of people that do trading are very psychologically stable people. You cannot trade and be psychologically unstable. Why? Well, because you can't. It involves money. Now, there are a lot of factors. Think of it like a cloud, okay? So, on on a rainy day, you'll start to smell the rain. You'll start to see these brown, black clouds coming over, right? I want you to think about that black cloud as a decision, as trading. Now, there are many things in that cloud. There's rain, there's thunder, there's lightning, there's all those things, right? So you can't go into trading, whether you're buy side or sell side. You can't go in with emotion. If you go in with emotion, we as human beings are very emotional creatures. It's the hardest thing to sit there, especially for me, to sit there and see my account down $20,000, $30,000 in a few minutes, just sitting here being like, oh my God, what do I do? Should I get out? Should I leave it? That's hard. That is one of the hardest obstacles you have to overcome. But if you can just not get in that mindset in the first place, then that would be beneficial. So let's say that, you know, let's make the distinction. You have to be very unemotional when you trade. You can't go into trading being emotional. Um, that's how I use trading. That's how I use trading to enhance my income. I made, like I said, personal figures here. I made around $240,000 in a few minutes, seconds to minutes, depending on clearing agencies, shorting futures contracts on a prospective downtrend. Again, tomorrow I'm going to show you how that actually works. But this video is just an overview on